Christy, welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to make curried beets as a breakfast dish. It's really filling and warm and yummy, and I think you're going to like it. One of the things you need to know when you're making beets, wear a glove. Otherwise you're going to have red hands. Today I got some really beautiful rainbow colored beets. Let me get the glove on. I don't want to have red hands. I'm going to fight the glove. Once I get this glove on, then we can start working with these beets. I'm going to cut off the tops and the bottoms. Look at this beautiful rainbow colored beets. This one didn't need a glove. It's white. Got a watermelon. A little trash bowl here. Golden. I just love the color of the golden beet. And your everyday red. This is the troublemaker right here. I'm going to use a peeler. Peel these little ladies. They've already been washed before peeling. I just love that golden color of the golden beet. It's not quite as sweet. It's got a little bit lower sugar than the red. Of course, once they all get mixed in together, they're all going to be the same color. That red one will give everything in the dish a hue. It's very pretty and appetizing. Look at that. Beautiful. Okay, we're going to cut these just enough to fit into the food processor. If you're not using a food processor, you're just using a grater of some sort, of course you can skip this step. Okay, we're going to come over here to the food processor, shred the beets up. Rainbow of nutritious deliciousness. Now, if you at this point wanted to use a meat instead of a beet, this is the vegetarian option. You can always use beef or chicken or lamb, whatever works best for your diet or what you're in the mood for that day. But this is where you would use your chicken in place of the beets. Everything else is going to be the same. So we're going to marinate this in a couple teaspoons of curry powder. We'll just toss that up. Use about 3 teaspoons there. And we're gonna let those beets really marry with that for a few minutes. So while that's working on that, we can go ahead and take off our glove. While that's working on that, we're going to make some pistachio milk. Is a very nice, refreshing way to complement this meal. The great thing about making the pistachio milk with this meal is we'll be able to use our pulp as a little boost of protein for our bowl, our curried beet bowl. So I'm going to start with 1 cup of pistachios in our blender. If you're using a Vitamix, you're only going to want to take your speed up to about a 5 because you don't want it to get hot. If you're using a regular blender, you can usually use right at the high setting without incurring any problems. We're going to use 4 cups of filtered water. This is an RO water. You get a much better flavor that way. It's healthier. 4 cups. We're going to do 10 drops of liquid stevia. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Any more is too sweet. You can of course give it less. You're going to do a pinch of salt. Unless you're using salted pistachios, then you won't need to. Pistachios are one of the nuts that you don't have to soak before you blend them. We're going to do a little bit of vanilla. You can also do cardamom. Cardamom is a beautiful flavor to go with these pistachios. And it goes well with the curry and the beets. Okay, we're going to blend this for 2 minutes. We're going to start at 1. Turn it on first. We're going to start at 1 and build our way up to 5. And then we're going to time it for 2 minutes. Okay, our milk is ready. I have a pitcher here lined with a nut bag, and we are just going to pour that in and let it strain out the pulp. Oh, it smells so good. So ready. Tie these off. I'm going to put them in the fridge and let them just continue to strain. And chill off so we have a nice refresher to go with our meal. Okay, we're going to get ready to do this bowl. I'm going to start with some onion. We're going to dice it. I like quite a bit of onion in the bowl. It adds a very low carbohydrate amount of flavor and bulk. You of course can always lower the amount of onion if that's not really your thing. But I'm not going to do a dice, I'm not going to do a slice, I'm going to do somewhere in the middle. I want it to have the bulk, but I don't want it to be too big. So I'm going to cut it in half this way, and then we're going to slice into these pretty little chunks. Keep your fingers bent in. The sharper the knife, the less likely you are to hurt yourself. Just do a nice thin slice. It's a really pretty kind of slice as well. Garlic and our greens, I want to get our stove on. I want to get our pan heating so that when we're ready, we're not waiting for everything to heat up and then we're having a hard time getting things crispy. So we're going to go ahead and turn that on a medium-high heat and let that heat up while we do our garlic. We're going to do 3 or 4 cloves of garlic. I like 4. I think that's a good number. I'm just going to rustically cut them. I think it gives something to the dish. However, you're welcome to mince it, you're welcome to use a microplane, whatever you prefer. You just gotta get it in there. and pop them. There's so many health benefits to garlic. It's one of the high cancer fighters. It's good for your heart. Good for your immune system. And it tastes good too. Just a rough chop, nothing fancy. Doesn't a little chunk here or there is pretty good in this dish. Not all dishes are that way. So we're gonna cut these greens. These are the greens that I took off the top of the beets. If you can't find beets that have greens, it's okay. The original recipe that I came up with came with kale. However, I had beet greens and I didn't want them to go to waste. So we're gonna use the beet greens and we're gonna use some spinach. You can use kale, you can use spinach, whatever greens you happen to prefer, whatever is on your shopping list, whatever is in season in your part of the world at that time. Whatever works best for you. So we're just gonna do a rough chop on these two. You've been very, you gotta really clean your beet greens though, or they're gonna get gritty from all the sand. Okay, we are ready for the stove. So let's head on over to the stove and start putting this baby together. Okay, so we're ready to assemble our dish. Remember, this is ketogenic cooking. Lots of fat, so I'm going to use lots of fat. You have almost a cup of coconut oil here. I'm going to get that melted, which will happen quickly because we've already heated our pan. You want the widest skillet that you have. You want lots of room for crisping up, for caramelizing. It's the middle of summer here in Arizona where we're filming. I don't know how in the world my coconut oil was solid to begin with, but it was. So we have to wait for a second for that to be prepared. Get our onions going. Oh yeah, I can hear them. I'm gonna get my beets here in the center. I want them to have as much oil, as much contact with the oil as possible. Okay, we're gonna let that all set for 3 to 4 minutes before we move on to even stirring, because we want to get that bottom layer caramelized. Okay guys, we're gonna start stirring this up. I don't want to say we're frying, but we're kind of frying.
I like to say sauteing.
I'd prefer to tell you we're sauteing. Okay, this has been cooking now for about 5 minutes. We got lots of good curry flavor in our beets. Our onions have released their flavor into the oil. Our onions have started to soften, get the right texture for that. Now we're going to put in some garlic, a little pinch of salt, really tiny pinch of salt. Then we're going to put in, give that about 30 seconds. And then we're going to put in our raw greens. I have both a mixture of raw greens and frozen greens. I'm going to start with the raw, give them a few minutes to brighten up in color, and then I'm going to go for the frozen ones that have been thawed out. A little pinch of salt with those greens, little pinch. give you a number, I'd say 1/8 of a teaspoon. Oh, those are really starting to get bright. Yummy. Okay, we're gonna stir this for a couple of minutes. Okay, we're going to cook this for 2 to 3 minutes and then we're going to move on to our next step. Okay, we're going to add our frozen spinach. Like I said, kale, spinach, whatever greens happen to be working for you. Fresh is always better, but if you can't get fresh and you only have frozen on hand, that's what you have. Okay, now we're going to add a can of coconut milk. Oh yes. Here we go. I'm going to stir that up. A little pinch of salt, small pinch.
Yeah, baby.
You getting hungry?
Starving.
I love this with beets. So many people, me included, are not beet fans, but I love this. I love the beets this way because they're just accentuated by the other flavors, and it's not overly beet-like. However, it is phenomenal with a beef or a chicken. You just use everything the same. You just replace the beets with a beef or a chicken. Or if you're really feeling crazy, do both. Why not? Okay, I'm gonna let that heat up. I'm gonna turn the heat down to a medium, a low medium, because we're going to get our, we're going to finish off our milk here. We're going to strain until all we have left is pulp. I did a lot of that off camera, so you didn't see how much you do, but it was about up to here, and I strained it until we're about here. Ta-da. So we're going to open this up, and we're going to pull out our pulp, because we're going to use that as an added little bit of protein and fat and yumminess to our beet dish. So we're just going to pour that right in there. We're going to stir that up. And then just let that all get heated through. Get a glass. I just love the color that the pistachio milk has. Okay, we are all heated through and ready to taste. Or if it's cold outside, it'll be heated for the day. Okay, where's my taste testers? I need a taste tester.
Pick me! I want to try this. I'm so hungry right now. I usually hate beets. Oh my god. This is good.
How's the milk?
I get to taste this too? That's better than regular milk. I like it.
Let me get a different spoon so I don't get your cooties. And take a taste. It's nutty and creamy. The curry isn't too strong. The coconut really comes out nicely. And at the very end, you get that bite of the greens. Absolutely delicious.
Bravo.
Oh, and the milk, I can't even explain. There's something special about a pistachio milk that I can't even describe. It's just something you have to try and know for yourself. But you get a little bit of that in the background of the beets as well. So I hope you enjoy. Thank you for joining us in Christy's Kitchen.